This is Financially Fit Radio with Corey Sickles from Safe Harbor Retirement Group. When a part of your financial strategy is out of tune, your long-term goals, your retirement savings, and your legacy can all suffer. With many years of experience in the financial industry, Corey provides his clients and prospects with the information they need regarding Social Security, retirement income planning, wealth management, and much more. Listen in as we address your financial concerns and provide helpful solutions to put you on the path to achieving your retirement goals. And now, here is Financially Fit Radio with Corey Sickles.
Hello and welcome back to Financially Fit Radio. My name is Corey Sickles from Safe Harbor Retirement Group and Wealth Advisors. If you'd like more information about what you hear during our show today, just give us a call at 614-760-0670, or you can always visit us online at safeharboroh.com. And while you're on our website, click on that radio page. You can check out past shows, and you can subscribe to our program on Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Google Podcast, or Spotify. Also, feel free to visit our YouTube page by typing in Safe Harbor Retirement Group to watch videos on different financial topics. And please don't hesitate to reach out to us with questions, or if you want to set up a face-to-face or virtual meeting. And remember, all meetings are complimentary with no obligation. Well, today what we're going to talk about are really what are the true benefits of having your investments professionally managed. You know, that's what we actually do here at Safe Harbor Wealth Advisors. I think it's a good topic. We never really dive into the details maybe of how we actually manage money in the market for our clients, but we'll kind of talk about that. But before we kind of dive into that subject, let me introduce to you to my co-host this week and every week, and that's Tony Shore. Tony, how are you today?
I am doing great, Corey. I tell you what. It's been a crazy week. My daughter, we're still getting her ready to go to college. Our youngest child, our daughter, is going to be going to college for the first time this fall, which is coming up quickly. It's quickly approaching. Sure. She has to move in a few weeks. And so she came to Sarah, my wife, and said, "Hey, Mom and Dad, Mom, can I get your check card, your bank card, to go get some stuff for my dorm?" We're like, well, we threw you this huge grad party, and a lot of people came, and we watched you go through the cards and write thank you notes. You got a lot of money for that. She goes, well, I need a microwave, so let me get your card. And we're like, no, you're going to have to use that money you got from the grad party. And her eyes kind of got big, and we're like, nope, depending on what you need and what it comes to, that should easily cover all your supplies for your dorm. And so, because we're helping her out with college, of course,
sure,
with the cost, and we threw the grad party, but we want her to learn that, hey, you raked in a lot of cash at the grad party. So, when you buy a little microwave for your dorm room, that's on you, if you want some posters and push pins and other things, that's on you, use some of that money. So I'm going to use some of that. I'm going to use that on clothes and new tennis shoes. And I'm like, well, you're going to also use some of that on a microwave. So she did get a pretty good haul at her grad party. So we're going to make her go through that. But she has been good about saving. We make her put a portion of her, when she first started working, it was half a check. It's not quite that much into savings and not touch it for college. Sure. So she's got some money saved up, and she's done a pretty good job. She's only dipped into it a couple of times. So, but they have to learn at some point, right?
Well, yeah, they have to learn, and it's a good realization on how much things truly do cost.
Yes, it is, because Mom and Dad aren't every time now she wants something, and Mom's soft-hearted. Oh yeah, here's the check card, no problem. Run to Target, or here's our Target card. So I'm not just giving her my Target card and letting her go to town at Target. She's sitting on some serious cash down there from those grad cards. I thought that was funny. How about you? How have you been?
I've been good. You're speaking about that. One of the things that she'll learn is, especially when she starts going out to dinner or lunch down on campus, it's going to be fast food. It's going to be the cheap places. Yeah. It's not going to be the go in and sit down. When I was, I went to school at Ohio University, and we had back then, this is the late 80s, early 90s. Taco Bell. We went to Taco Bell. That's when they used to have the 59, 79, 99 menus.
Yep.
So yeah, you'd go there, and that's where you would, if you had to go pile up on some food and get stuff. That's where we actually went. So
Yeah. Yeah, I know about college living, and my son, is now he's in grad school, but when he started college, he was our first. He's our oldest, and I know it was a lot of Taco Bell and cheap takeout pizzas and Taco Bell is what it was. But yeah, she'll learn.
Little Caesars.
Yeah, exactly. The cheapest and not bad. So at any rate, a little bit of a tie into finances, and it just for our listeners out there that have kids in college, especially if they're like me and have 3 kids in one form of college or another now, that's a lot. And you know that, right?
Oh, yeah, it is a lot. Yeah, it is a lot. But overall, things are going good here, Tony. And I think we have a good conversation today to kind of talk about. So just, one of the things I do kind of want to share with, our clients is, or not with our listeners out here is, when you become a client of Safe Harbor, we have, obviously we're going to put together an overall solution for you, which means it could be some annuities, it could be life insurance. But at some point in time, a portion of that money is probably going to go in the different portfolios that we have that's actually invested in the market.
Right.
So when we start talking about that, just to kind of give a little bit of insight, one of the things that we do is our professional money managers are actually based out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's a company called Gradient Investments. When we started with them back in 2009, they probably had $100 million worth of assets they were managing maybe at that time. Now they're over $5 billion.
Yeah.
Now, the only thing they do is they only work with registered investment advisors, which we are. So it's not like every broker dealer out there or, anything that's branded with any particular type of company.
Right.
So really they're working with just independent registered investment advisors, which means, we have a fiduciary responsibility to our clients, and we'd expect them to have a fiduciary responsibility to us.
Yes.
So that kind of gives you a layout there. They have about 20 to 25 different types of portfolios that we can put our clients into. Just like we have discussed so many times on the show, it's our job as the advisor to work with our clients to find out what type of risk level that clients want or that clients are today. And then based upon that, we put together the financial plan and the solution on how we're going to manage those assets. And so it's our job to be able to put those into the portfolios. And then once that money's in the portfolios that we, that Gradient that actually manages, then it's up to them from that point forward to be able to take care of those portfolios for our clients. So now really what we're kind of, where I really want to spend more of the time on today is what's the benefit of working with someone that actually manages, your portfolio, professionally.
Yeah.
Now, I just read something, just read an interesting article from Charles Schwab. And they broke it down between baby boomers, Gen X, and they also broke it down with millennials. And one of the things they were really talking about was what's the average baby boomer that actually uses that uses someone to professionally manage their assets versus someone that does not have to professionally manage their assets. And I thought it was kind of interesting because it was almost about $600,000 that someone that actually uses an advisor to manage them professionally, that's their average balance. And it was around $250,000 for individuals that did not have someone professionally manage. Now, my guess would be with a lot of that is that people that probably started working with advisors a long time ago probably were set up to start saving a lot more. That probably has a lot to, that probably has a big portion to do with that. But it also kind of makes sense that, if you want to probably grow, preserve your assets and have a good financial plan, it probably makes sense to work with an advisor. 9 times out of 10, those are going to be professionally managed, at that point in time for their clients.
Yeah. Yeah, and I like the fact, Corey, that you described to our listeners out there the relationship you have with Gradient Investments and how they are one of the fastest growing investment firms, but yet they are very exclusive and they have a lot of talent that they've recruited working there and managing this money. And when you talk about actively managed money, you're not just putting this money with some big name, big box company where they only have a few of their own items and you don't know who's managing it and you're really distant from that. You work hand in hand with them personally and see that this money is actively managed. And I know as a fact that Mike Binger and Jeremy Bryan and the others at Gradient Investments, I know you can get them on the phone. The president of Gradient Investments, you talk to him all the time personally about this and about where things are headed, what they're doing. So you're actively involved and getting that information, and you're able to let your clients know that their money is being actively managed. It's not like your 401k where you pick, high risk, medium risk, low risk, and it's just they do an assortment and then that's it, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And the way I always kind of look at it, Tony, is, being a registered investment advisor, I have two ways that we can actually manage our money for our clients, right? One is I can actually manage it myself.
Right.
Or I actually hire someone internally to be able to manage that.
Yep.
Or I can actually go out and establish a relationship with a third party like Gradient Investments in order to do that. And of course, that's the way that we chose to do it. And one of the big reasons that we do that, and this is a benefit not only for us, but it's also a benefit for our clients, is one of the big reasons why we do it is because Gradient Investments has the expertise and knowledge, right?
Right.
So professional money managers, they have a specialized knowledge and expertise in, all type of different financial matters or topics or investment strategies or risk management and asset allocation. They're staying up to date with all the market trends out there, any kind of economic indicators that take place might have an influence on the way they actually invest the money. And this enables them to make informed investment decisions on behalf of their clients, which happens to be my clients. So that's one of the biggest reasons why that we actually use Gradient Investments is for that expertise and knowledge to be able to help guide us and be able to put us in a great situation with our clients to be able to do what's always best for them.
Plus, there's a large diversification of what they do with that money and how they invest it, and they have a lot of investment options, and they're always coming up with new portfolios and options too as things change. And so they really try to stay ahead of the curve and move with the flow. And no one has a crystal ball, but Gradient Investments has a great track record.
Yeah, they do have a great track record. And, speaking of diversification, that is one of the reasons why we have 20 to 25 different portfolios.
Yeah.
To be able to place our clients into. And, one of the things that here's the way I always look at it, right? When you actually work with us, you're kind of a client actually receives what I would consider they're actually receiving someone's looking out for them. Two people are actually looking out for them. One is us, right? It's my job to find out what their risk level is and be able to put them in particular portfolios that Gradient Investments manages. So once we were able to determine that, then now you're going to be able to get the second part of the double management, and that is now Gradient Investments is going to manage that portfolio based upon diversification, their expertise and knowledge, their risk management, all that type of stuff that goes in there. So the way I always look at it is our clients they're receiving double management on all their investments. It's my job to find out where to put your money. It's Gradient's job to be able to invest that money based upon whatever the goals they are for those particular, products or portfolios that we actually have.
Yeah, and
let's face it,
it's not a set it and forget it situation.
That's correct.
Either.
And here's another big part of it, right? There's not only this is a big part for me, but it's also a big part for our clients too that want to try to do it themselves. And really, what we're talking about is it's time saving, right? Managing money can be complex. It can be time consuming, especially for individuals who lack all this expertise because you have other commitments. You're trying to live your life, right? Yeah. Whether you're working or whether you're retired, there's things to do. compared to someone that's working 8 to 10 hours a day just in the financial, world, right? So by delegating those individuals who lack that expertise or have those other commitments, they're going to be able to, save time and focus on the management of their money, on a day-to-day basis. So believe me, there is a lot of time saving when you're not actually the one making the decisions. And it's not only from the portfolio management, but it's also from the financial planning standpoint. We save time. We save a lot of time for clients that come to us that want us to take control of really their overall financial plan. Well, Tony, we've really been talking about the benefits of, having your investments professionally managed. And I think another good thing to kind of talk about here right now is the emotion that we actually eliminate when you're working with someone that can professionally manage your money, right?
Sure.
Investing can be very emotional, right?
Yeah.
Who likes to lose money? Nobody.
Nobody. Right? Yeah.
And let's face it, you will go through periods of time where you have a lot of volatility in the market.
Oh yeah, 2022. Right? All we have to do is look in the rearview mirror the last year. Right.
That's exactly right. And that's why it's so important to work with an advisor, because what we're going to do is we're going to say, what is your risk level? And we're going to invest those funds based upon your risk level. And then the nice part is next year when we meet again on an annual basis, for example, then we're going to sit down and go, okay, let's just look at your risk level again. We might have to change things around, but we're going to do that, every time, at least on an annual basis. If we need to reallocate, we're going to be able to do that. And by doing that, it eliminates that emotional conflict that everybody has is when the market dives. When the market dives, we're going to sit there and say, hey, we have a plan in place. Now, is the plan a little bit off track right now? It sure is, because the market is, down 10, 15, 20% at this point in time. However, that's why we put some money elsewhere in order to, kind of protect some of those assets,
sure,
or whatever we're actually doing for you. So we take that emotion out. The worst thing that you can do is get out of the market when the market's down, because that's immediate loss.
Yeah, they say over. I just read this today, Corey. Over 40% of investors took their money out of the market in 2022 because of high inflation was the main reason they gave, and because of market volatility. But that's the biggest mistake they stopped. I should say they didn't take money out necessarily, but that was the figure. I think it was 41 or 42%. Maybe it was even 43%. It was over 40 that actually stopped contributing to their retirement accounts, IRAs, 401ks, and stopped putting money into the market in 2022. When the market's down, that's when you want to be buying, right? So they end up buying high and selling low then, right?
Yeah. The real difficult part, Tony, is when you're no longer contributing to your account.
Yeah.
Which means you're retired. When you're retired and the market drops, it's not like you can keep buying every paycheck.
Sure.
Now you have to kind of rely on your plan to make sure that it's still going to be executed the way that we talked about it being executed, on a long-term plan. And that's the key, right? When you work with an advisor, the word is long-term.
Yeah.
We're not short-term.
Right.
What I mean by that is when the market gets a little bit dicey, we're just not going to be able to get out of it.
Right.
And hopefully we have, some products and services out there that are going to maybe help, not eliminate, but that can kind of protect some of those assets, in a downturn of the market. So
you don't have to take as much out of the market during the downturn. And that's
correct.
You want to have a plan that hopefully can allow you to do that. And I just think it's amazing how many people, once the market goes crazy or inflation goes up, they stop contributing. Even when they're working, in their working years, they stop contributing to their 401ks and IRAs, which is the exact opposite thing they should be doing, right?
That's exactly right. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when the market's down, that's exactly when you want to be contributing.
And that's why you need a plan and be working with a financial advisor. That way, you don't touch your account without talking to your financial advisor about it. first.
That's exactly right. And that's true. The way I always look at it is when you can take emotion out, then you're going to be able to also not eliminate, but you're going to be able to lower the risk in order to make poor investment decisions.
Right. Yeah. And I think some people have a misconception about investments too, and I'm glad you explained how it works for your clients. Some people think, well, I can't afford to use, you and then gradient investments because there's so many fees, but really the growth typically outweighs the fees, but they aren't that high. I think people have a misconception about that, don't they?
They do. And, a lot of times, of course you do pay a fee with us, but really what I actually think about is when you look at the long term, I think by working with an advisor and by having your funds professionally managed, it's going to set you up for a better chance to succeed.
Sure. Every survey and study that shows working with a financial advisor who's a fiduciary, in the end, when it's all calculated out, is always beneficial. And I just think that's really, really important to understand.
And that's why it's so important to be able to use like some of our performance monitoring and reporting.
Yes.
So you can actually see two things. How are you doing? We want to be as transparent as possible with our clients so they know, A, the fees they're paying, but B, am I up or am I down overall, on my overall portfolio? Yep. And the other side of it is we want to be able to provide you access to that at your fingertips so you can check that 24 hours, 7 days a week to be able to see how am I doing today? How am I doing this quarter? How am I doing this year? And how have they been doing this for 3, 5, 10 years in order to manage the money that they're managing for us?
Yeah, I think that's great. So it is really advantageous to have your money professionally managed and actively managed. Your investments is what you've been saying this show, correct?
Yes, I think it is. By having professional money managers, Tony, just to kind of highlight, just everything we kind of talked about. But, really what we're going to try to do is tailor our investment strategies in our portfolios to each client that we have. Sure. Every client has different goals, right? The other thing we would try to also take into account, we didn't really get into that, is, we did discuss risk tolerance, but your time horizon, right? That's a big key. What are your true financial objectives? Possible tax strategies or considerations? We're going to take that into account as well. And with all that information, then we're going to be able to create that personalized plan for you. And it just so happens to be that the money we have invested in the market is professionally managed. And again, I think we're trying to put the best possible, we want to be able to have the best possible success rate for our clients. And we truly believe by having the funds professionally managed allows our clients to have that best chance to succeed.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think this has been a great show, a good topic, Corey. I think a lot of people wonder how it works and need to hear this message. How can our listeners get a hold of you to get a plan in place?
Yeah, for our listeners out there, just give us a call at 614-760-0670, or you can always visit us online at safeharboroh.com. If you have a plan, we can provide that second opinion. If you don't have a plan, we'll put one in place for you. Again, our job is to work with you, put together a customized, strategy, really. It's really what we're talking about, a customized strategy or financial plan that's going to put you in the best situation or the best possible way to succeed and have a successful retirement.
All right. Well, that's great, Corey. And listeners, that does it for today's episode of Financially Fit Radio with our host, Corey Sickles.
Join us again soon for another episode of Financially Fit Radio.
Thank you for listening to Financially Fit Radio. Don't pay too much for taxes or retire without a sound income plan. For more information, contact Corey Sickles at Safe Harbor Retirement Group. Call 614-760-0670 or visit their website at financiallyfitoh.com.
All matters discussed during the show are for informational purposes only. Each individual situation may vary, and the opinions expressed here may not apply to everyone. Materials presented are believed to be from reliable sources, and no representations can be made as to its accuracy. All ideas and information should be discussed in detail with one of our qualified representatives prior to implementation. We are not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration, the Federal Medicare Program, or any other government agency. Calling this number will direct you to a licensed sales agent.